Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel Donut Lover. Today I am making Makai Roti and Sarson ka Saag. It is a very delicious recipe. Usually it is prepared in North India. Now all over India it is quite popular. For this recipe you require Sarson ka Saag, Palak Saag, Methi Saag and Mooli Saag. They are also known as mustard leaves, spinach leaves, fenugreek leaves as well as radish leaves. I will also use one whole radish. This whole recipe is very delicious and easy to prepare. For making this recipe, first you need to collect the leaves. You need to clean them and then you need to chop off the stem and you collect it in a large bowl. Individually discard any dirt in it or any spoiled or wilted leaves, and then you start collecting and see the process what I am doing, and you need to wash them at least 3 to 4 times until you get a very clean water. Discard all the roots of the leaves. Just see how I am taking it out. These are the mustard leaves. They look quite similar to spinach leaves, but they are different. They are thicker in nature and it has a pungent smell. I love mustard leaves. We prepare various kinds of recipes using this mustard leaves, one of which is Sarson ka Saag. This tastes really delicious and it is usually available in winters. And spinach leaves is almost available throughout the year, mostly in winters, and they too taste delicious, but it is different. It is softer in nature, but mustard leaves is a bit coarse. So there is a difference in the texture of the leaves. Now we will take out the roots of the spinach leaves. At this point we will not cut them into pieces. First we will wash all the leaves and then we will blanch the leaves and then we will blend it. After washing you can cut them into pieces, but it is not required because we will already blend it in a mixie, or we will cook it for such a time on low heat so that it gets cooked and it will almost get mashed. We need to mash the leaves for the end result. Now comes the methi leaves or fenugreek leaves. This we will just pull with our hands and the leaves which are softer in nature will come off. The hard stem we will not use and we'll discard them. We'll just pull it in such a way that the softer one will automatically get teared from the branch, and you can see how easy it is to pull off, or else you can just select the leaves and you can just use it. I will partially use the stem as well, which is softer in nature, and that will give a larger volume in the saag or the leafy greens and it will be chewable. Take a large bowl and fill it up with water, and then we will put the greens in them carefully so that it will get dipped into the water. You will see that all the dirts will settle down in the bottom of the water, and then we will take it out in another empty bowl, and then we will discard all the dirt below, and similarly we will wash them 3 or 4 times till the water comes out clean. You can also use a strainer for this. Leafy greens are very good for our health and it's quite healthy in nature, and we should try to include it in our diet whichever way possible. So this is one of a delicious way which we can use it. Washing the leafy greens is time taking, but still you should relish the benefits of leafy greens. You can see how much dirt has come out from the leafy greens. Until the water is clear, you need to keep on washing it. You can also leave the leafy greens in the water dipped for around half an hour so that all the dirt will settle down, and then you can slowly take out the leaves. You can also wash them in batches so that it is easier for you to manage the quantity of leafy greens. Keep discarding any kind of dirt or wilt which is being seen in the leafy greens. Finally, the water is clean and now it's ready to proceed with the recipe. In a large bowl, we will steam the leaves for about 10 to 15 minutes and then we will overturn in between so that all the leaves will get softer. While the leaves are steaming, we will proceed with chopping the veggies. So here I will be peeling the radish and then chopping it into small pieces. Now we'll peel and deskin the onions and we'll keep everything ready at hand and then we will start chopping and mincing the ingredients. You can increase or decrease the quantity of ingredients as per your choice and flavors of your mouth. So here in this whole recipe I'll be using 2 onions and 1 radish. Meanwhile, check the leafy greens and overturn it in between, and you can also cut it with a knife so that the pieces will get smaller and it is easy to overturn them. You can see they are almost blanched and here we are overturning to make it soften, and it has left lot of water as well. We have not added any water, it is the water of the leaves itself. Once the leaves are softer in nature, it becomes easier to blend it in a mixie or with a hand blender. You can also mash it with the spatula with which you will be cooking. So In any case, we'll be cooking the leaves after it is blended. Without blending also you can cook it so much that it will blend with the spatula itself. You can see the amount of water it has released. You can use this water as well because it has got lot of nutrients. Cover the lid and let it cook for some more time, and then we will switch off the flame. Keep a check on the leafy greens so that it does not burn. Now let's begin chopping the ingredients. So we start by slitting the green chilies and finely chopping them, and we'll be using it in the recipe. Now it's time for the ginger. Now it's time for the garlic. Now it's time to chop the radish finely. I am cutting them into cubes. Chopping veggies are quite interesting. If you cut them in even shapes and sizes, they look beautiful as well as they will cook evenly and will taste delicious. You try it and definitely you will find the difference. Now it's time to cut the onions finely. Remove the center part of the onion because it will taste bitter and it is hard in nature. Now it's time for the tomatoes. Discard the center of the tomatoes as well. Always take care to cut the veggies in an even shape so that they are equal in size and they cook uniformly. This is very important in any kind of recipe. Now it's time for the coriander leaves. Chop them finely. As you can see, all the veggies have been chopped off and they are ready to proceed with the recipe. So now we'll come back to the sarson ka saag. The saag is slightly cooled off, so now we'll start blending it. We need to make a coarse paste and take sufficient care so that you do not burn yourself. Mix it thoroughly and start blending it at equal intervals. Once you see that it has got free and it is smoothly getting blended, that means the saag is done. Do not over blend it. You get the best taste only when you have got a coarse paste. The coarse texture is much more important. Now all our ingredients are ready and we will now start the recipe of making sarson ka saag. For this we need a kadai and we will add mustard oil. This whole recipe will be cooked in mustard oil. Once the oil is heated, we'll add the foran. In this foran we will add hing, ajwain, kala jeera, jeera. Also we'll add the garlic and then we will saute it. Now we'll add the radish and then we'll saute it for some time. Now it's time for the onions. Add salt. Adding salt will brown the onions faster. Once the onions are brown, we will add the tomatoes. We will also add a little bit of coriander leaves along with a little bit of ginger as well and a few green chilies, so that while sauteing you will get the flavors, and we'll retain the rest of them to add it later on. Add a little jeera powder, coriander powder and red chili powder. Add a little amchur powder. Now it's time for the garam masala. Need to saute the vegetables and spices till it releases oil. It will give a very good aroma and you will know that it has been sauteed nicely. The beautiful hues of the vegetables look so colorful and I just love the sight. The efforts taken to cut and chop these vegetables is not any less. Now it's time to add the leafy greens which we had blended. It doesn't need to be fine. You can coarsely just grind it and then you will use it in the recipe. This coarse texture is also really delicious. If you make it a paste, it will taste something different. But a coarse texture is what we want. Mix the saag nicely and blend it together so that all the spices and the saag gets mixed up nicely, and reduce it till the desired thickness is required. At this point we'll add a little bit of kasuri methi which we will rub by hands and then we will sprinkle over it and mix it thoroughly. This will give an added aroma and this is optional, you can add it, but usually we add these. Now we'll add the remaining coriander leaves, ginger and green chilies. This will give a good bite to the saag. Sprinkle a little onion seeds on it. Onion seeds is also known as kala jeera. Adding onion seeds at the end gives a good aroma as well. Now we'll add raw mustard oil at the end and the saag is ready to be served. So you can see this is the quantity we got from so much of saag. This sarson ka saag will pair well with Makai Roti. So now let's proceed to make Makai Roti. For making Makai Roti you need Makai atta. This is also known as maize flour. This is around 500 grams of Makai atta, so I'll be using half a packet, around 250 grams of Makai atta for this recipe. Add salt. Now it's time for ajwain. Now add onion seeds, which is also known as kala jeera. Add ghee. For making the dough we need boiling water, and while we will make the dough we'll heat on the tawa so that it gets heated while the dough is getting prepared. So my boiling water is ready and we will add it, and use a spoon to mix the ingredients. And be careful, do not burn your hands because the water is quite hot and it's boiling. Watch the steps carefully. You need to add water slowly and gradually, little by little, and then you keep mixing it till sufficient water is added. You can later on add extra water, but now you just add sufficient water so that it almost combines, and then cover it with a lid and keep it for some time, around 5 to 10 minutes, and then you start mixing it by hand. By that time it will get a bit cold and you will be able to manage it with your hands, and you need to knead the dough a lot. Good kneaded dough will really taste delicious and will be soft and moist. Now we'll use our hands to knead the dough. It's still hot, but still you can manage it. So we will knead the dough for quite some time. Makai ka atta absorbs a lot of water. So now you can see that it is quite soft enough, and by the time I will make balls, it will almost soak the water. Keep hot water handy so that while you are making and separating the balls equally, you can just wet your hands and then you can make a round balls. You just need to equally divide the doughs first, and then we will start proceeding with making the rotis. So now all the doughs have been made, and now we will start making the rotis. For making the rotis, you need to wet your hands, take the balls and then you flatten them with your hands, and you can see the procedure how it is being done. Place them on the hot tawa once the roti is being made, and just wet it with the hot water so that it flattens, and you can thin it by pressing it. Use a spatula to overturn it. Just slide it below the roti and then overturn it. You can make this makai ka roti dry, or else you can also add ghee to it. Ghee will make it more moist and more tastier, while the dry ones will also taste good enough. It depends on your choice. By the time this roti is getting cooked, we'll make another one because there is sufficient space in the tawa and we will utilize it. Making makai ka roti is quite interesting and it's fun to do. You need to use both your hands. You can also use plastic sheets to roll it into thin chapatis so that it does not stick in the bottom and you can take it out easily. Both ways is interesting. You can make it both ways. This is faster and you don't have so much of mess of washing and cleaning afterwards, and even thick rotis also taste delicious. It has a unique texture that is much more interesting for the makai lovers. Ensure to cook it on low flame because low heat will allow it to cook from inside as well, because if you cook it on high heat, the outer cover will get burnt and the inside will remain raw. So cook it on low flame for a longer time. Since the makai ka roti is smaller in size, I can fit in at least 3 in one tawa. Be careful while overturning it. Ensure that it is not sticking to the tawa and then slowly turn it around. So what do you say? Isn't it easy to make makai ka roti? So now overturn the third one as well, and then we will cook all the sides nicely. Apply ghee on both the sides and then cook it for some time till it slightly browns. After overturning, apply ghee on this side as well. Have patience at this point and slowly and steadily roast both the sides of the Makai ka roti. Once it's evenly browned, it's ready to be served. One Makai ka roti is already ready. We'll remove it from the tawa, and now we'll make another one because there is some space in the tawa and it will cook along so that we can complete the task faster. Makai ka atta is a seasonal product and it's very healthy for our health and it is gluten free. So we should try to include it in our diet whenever possible, and it's a winter recipe. And do enjoy Makai ka atta, Makai ka roti and many other Makai recipes. So now it's time for the plating. Let's see how I'll plate. Makai ka roti and patali gur, they also taste delicious along with sarson ka saag. Mix the sarson ka saag thoroughly and then we will plate it in the plate. Multitasking helps to complete the tasks faster, so you need to multitask along while you are preparing some elaborate recipes. So now let's check on the Makai ka roti. It is breaking easily and it is quite soft and it is very delicious. There are enormous amount of creativity with Makai. Just use your own imagination and intuition while preparing creative recipes. I love Makai ka roti and sarson ka saag, and I usually prepare at least 3 or 4 times during the season, and we all enjoy this recipe. This recipe has also been served along with ol ka ganja. Ol is also known as yam. Yam pickle has been made and it also tastes delicious with Makai ka roti, sarson ka saag and patali gur. Enjoy this recipe and definitely make this one, and do comment how you liked it. Thanks for watching. This one is mine. I hope you love the recipe. Thanks for watching.